Hello, everyone. This is Akata Western. Thank you for coming back to the Rose of Venus. Today, I have a beautiful sister from Galactic Astrology. Her name is Sabrina Savoy. We are both certified quantum soul guidance practitioners, and we also share our energy work as Reiki and many others tools that in our toolbox with our clear abilities and all that we are going to talk about. And so let's begin. Sabrina, thank you for coming. How are you?
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here with you, halfway around the world, and here we are.
Yes.
It's new moon. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, today is September 15th. So we have a Virgo new moon, a Earth grand trine. So lots of Earth energy that we are bringing here in this video. And yeah, so we have a few things to talk about. I guess we're going to share a couple things today.
Yeah. Okay, just for the record of the audience, like this is the fifth take that we
It's,
have.
it's five.
Yes, two for this podcast. It never happened in my history. Okay, not that I have done many podcasts, but that is the first time. Like we need to start over and over and over again. And just before, Sabrina has done a beautiful breath work to calm us down, to bring us back to here, to grant ourselves. So thank you so much for this. And yeah, let's start with how you start with discovered the clear abilities in you, and then we see how it brings us.
Okay, let's do that. I like that. Okay. So, for anybody watching who is unfamiliar, there's a term in energy work called the clairs. So, a clair is usually your extrasensory gifts or perception. So, a lot of people are already familiar with being clairvoyant. That's what you see. Clairaudient is when you hear messages. Claircognizance is when you automatically know something. Clairsentient is feeling. And then there's even more than that. Those are the main ones. But there's clairsalience. That is the ability to taste, which we can talk about, and clairgustance, if I'm pronouncing it. And that is when you could even taste something. And there's a few others. And Akata and I have shared that we have a few similar clairs, and how my journey started. I think I was born with clairsentience, but I did not have a word to place with that. As a child, I would feel a lot of the earth energy of the environment around me all the time. So nature was always my salvation. Like I would go play in the backyard. I'd clean the garbage off other people's lawns for no reason. Like I would always just be like taking care of the earth, and watching insects and things like that. Um, and it was always a feeling that I loved because it was so quiet, and it's like all the other noises would just melt away.
Mm.
Um, and growing up, when I started to have friends and go out, I could have gotten in a lot of trouble many times, but I always had this radar where it's like, no, can't do that, can't go down this alleyway, can't go there. I always had this like inner guidance, and it became a tool that I would rely on, and even friends would just be like, okay, Sabrina, what are we doing? So it 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 was so subtle and natural at the same time. But it really helped me, even unconscious of it. And it wasn't until energy work when I realized, oh, this is an actual thing and not everyone experiences life this way. Because growing up, especially being a teenager, or even before that, where I would automatically know when someone was lying to me, or just using you. And so it's like, and I would be so blown away that other people couldn't see that, and I was always
Mm.
wondering, why do you trust this person? Like, I don't get what's happening. But it was later on in life when I realized, oh, not everyone can feel uh what it is that I'm feeling. So
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think many of us that doing this kind of work, we are all born with this gift with us, right?
mhm,
Just only sometimes depends on the family, the social background, environments that we grow up, and sometimes we try to diminish ourselves to hide it when the situation is asking you to do that. Like I myself, like I also think that I was born with really connect with the divine, with the source. But I think that was with Crystal podcast that I was talking, like at 8 years old, I knew that I have to close everything down just to follow the society, the family, and only bring it back. Maybe it was even before I realized it, but certainly when I went to Australia when I was 18 years old, that was a preparation. I think that was started to feel into the nature. I think nature is so important for us
so do
to
I.
to to bring back everything that we have with us. And from there, changing from a concrete city in Hong Kong to Australia that is so vast, so wild, if you want to, right? And so from there, I think I started to relax all the restrictions that has been imposed by family, by society, and then start to bring back. And I think in the last 3 years, with when I realized that I was really having the awakening period when it was started, and I start to realize that I bring back these abilities, and yeah, not everyone has it. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it is. But sometimes I think we we somehow need to feel safe to use it, to
Right.
to declare that we have these abilities is already a step much forward.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that going back to what you said about nature, it is a feeling of safety for us. It's like, even though there's so much mystery around it, and how is it created and things like that, but there is a level of comfort there. There is a connection between human and the natural world. I mean, we are nature, but our society has turned humans into kind of robotic with the amount of things that are injected into our bodies to preserve beauty and whatever. So, I mean, where a lot of humans are removing their self by nature, by choice.
Mm.
But then there is a big group of us that are purposely putting us back into that natural world as well, because it feels more calm and more safe, more connected, and you learn to heighten other senses when you're there. It kind of holds space for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And now that with this energy work, when you realize that it's a kind of service that you can give, right? And how do you bring about these abilities, this gift. It is a gift from the divine to to assist you in your work.
Yeah. Mine, I started to notice it with the Reiki first degree attunement. That was, it really like shedded a lot of veils that I had kind of clouding myself and my own gifts. And also it was the situation I was placed in, all divinely guided, but of course, like many healers, we've all gone through many challenges to kind of get to where we are. And sometimes this is what people don't see when they know you to be a healer. They don't really see how many hurdles you've had to go through to get to where you are and all the work that you had to put behind it. So it's not like you woke up one day and all of a sudden you can work on healing people. It's like, no, you had a lot of work to do yourself first. But the clairsentient and claircognizance, so this like inner knowing, really came through with the Reiki first degree attunement. And I was guided to work on my mom at that time. So I don't know, I think I was pretty young in 2008. Maybe I was like 20 something. So a lot of my friends, I couldn't relate to them anymore because they were partying and whatever. And I was taking care of my mom who was sick. She had a rare form of breast cancer called inflammatory breast cancer. So she was kind of like what I would say medically experimented on. And the way my parents grew up, they like always trusted the doctors and were afraid of natural medicine. But my mom was okay and wanted me to do Reiki on her. And so that's how I learned Reiki. Sorry, I'll backtrack a bit. My yoga teacher at the time, I told her what I was going through with my mom, and she said, okay, you got to try Reiki out. I'm doing a training. I think you'll be good at it. It'll help you deal with your own emotions, and then you can help your mom. So right away, I signed up. And so the first time I ever worked on another person was for my mom who had a rare form of cancer. And then I started to feel and know where all the cancer was in her body. And it freaked me out. And I was actually scared to work on her because when her ultrasounds or test results would come back, like I felt it spread to her neck and to her brain and at the sides of her chest, and like everywhere that I would feel it, it would come back positive, a couple weeks or a month later when she would do the ultrasound. Yeah, so that was a really big lesson of mine and unraveling. So she was given 6 months to live when they found it, and she lasted 2 years. And my Reiki master was a really big help for me during that time. I am like early 20s, and I was, relating more to much older women, but they were great mentors to me. And yeah, it's an interesting journey.
Well, the thing with energy work, as far as I have experienced and see in the last few years, was like very unfortunately, even Reiki or prana healing, whatever modalities there's out there, instead of just bringing people into learning the actually, I don't think we are learning. We are remembering. We are remembering, recalling what we have known in our soul, deep down in us. And it has become a certain marketing program. You have to go through Reiki 1, 2, 3, 4 in order to call yourself Reiki master.
Right.
And when I was doing when I started to do my Reiki training in Hong Kong with a Japanese Reiki masters, I think I have waited for her instead of starting doing it in Italy. And I was actually started to go through a huge pain period of myself, like detoxing every substance, drugs, medicine, drugs inside my body. I was so in pain that I couldn't put my feet on the ground. I couldn't walk. And there's no one helping, no drugs that was helping. And that we have to go through that. If we go through that and we come here today and say, look, I have gone through that. If you didn't,
Yeah.
bad luck.
It's,
And so yes, I was also in this feeling for myself, and like you, that deep feeling for your mother, that we learn what actually the healing part is. It's not the technique. The technique is, yes, we call it Reiki, we call it whatever you want, but that is the innate in you that heal people, like healing with. I think we're doing this kind of job, work, service with so much heart feeling,
hmm.
not going through 5 minutes, 5 minutes, and 5 minutes. That's what the instruction for us, right? When we first start everything with the books, they say 5 minutes here, and then you move down. And
Yeah.
how's that Rex? Sorry. and and with learning, we give ourselves permission to do something else, like you feel into your mother's, to see it where it is, where the cancer were. And that is not, I would say, a huge percentage of energy healers that's out there. And I think that is quite a drawback when we think about energy healer and people that don't trust, maybe they really don't find the one that work through the heart
Yes.
instead of the mind.
Yeah. I've met, a lot of people have found me like through Google. Um, and usually they'll come and they'll tell me stories like, I tried Reiki once, like so many years ago, but I didn't really like it. And the practitioner said all these things, and it didn't feel right. So I was kind of scared to try it again, but then I saw your reviews, and then I wanted to come and try it out. So I love it that people who are really ready for it, even if maybe they did have maybe not the best experience, they'll get the calling to come back. And you don't really know what is guiding you behind that feeling, but it tends to lead you to where you need to go. And I know now with like the world of social media, eh, it's almost like cool to be a healer, like it's a little trendy. And but the good thing that I can see through that is more people are elevating their consciousness, and at least more receptive to the invisible world. Like before, um, when I actually started doing this part-time, like there wasn't Facebook and there wasn't Instagram. It was only word of mouth. And when someone would ask me what I do, and I'm like, I do energy work. And as soon as I'd say those two words, energy work, like deer in headlights kind of face would stare back at me, and I like completely lost them. I'm like, okay, This just people weren't ready for it. And now with it kind of becoming more popular, at least more people are interested and will give it a little more time to be like, oh, maybe there's something to this. Yeah.
Well, that actually, okay, even though I am a master, a Reiki master, I never really practice it as a constant service. I was always working with friends and family. But what you are saying, actually, I would like to go into, like, I am feeling it wholeheartedly with galactic astrology. Like, me as someone that has no client base from nowhere. Like, for me, the spiritual world, it just opened its door 3 years ago. For me, everything is new. Everything that was old was already out from my world. In the new world, well, yes, I have this kind of online connections with the groups that I have with us, with esoteric, with you guys in Galactic astrology. But I don't have the base, and I don't know people actually accept this kind of calling. Either be the one practice or for the service. But times and times again, it just demonstrates, as you say, when people, I think the mass consciousness is really different, or our group, our spheres of people are different already, so they are very receptive of the energies we are giving out. And everyone that come to me as galactic astrologer, almost all of them, when they come to me, and they would start by saying, I feel your energy. And I don't know why I am doing it, but that is what I want to do.
That's
And 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 I really think that we give out the kind of energies, the messages of us that draw in the people really ready for, like, for energy work that is very specific, right? But with galactic astrology, actually is, I'm finding people are really want to look deep into their soul level with this lifetime, of course, and explaining, also understanding themselves from a really higher octaves of finding their soul origin, and in doing that, it's not all bliss, we know. We have been through so many space and times that we have been to black negatives spaces. We have experienced that is sometimes we are not proud of, consciously or unconsciously. And but these people, like, were are really ready to find out right to the very point, accepting what is happening in this life too. This life, many of us, most of us, has gone through experience that is unspeakable.
It's true. And all of that, those experiences. Oh, my cat's coming on the table.
Yes.
All of these experiences are held in our soul, and our soul is what's like housing this body. So these memories and traumas are still in us, and it's amazing.
Well, here is one old soul.
Yes, here she is, Andrea, with a human name. She, this cat, no, I got distracted. Yes, people have like almost leveled up like another layer of consciousness is lifted, because they want to know where their soul has been, what it's carrying, because we all have these moments where it's like, why do I believe this? Like, where did this even come from? And you could go back to your childhood only so many times, and then you're like, okay, there's got to be something else, So I really love having galactic astrology now as a tool for energy work. And fortunately, I've been doing energy work for I don't know how many years, like full time. So a lot of my clients who already see me for energy work are interested in the galactic astrology, and I've done a few already, and it's amazing to see the amazing vibration these people really have. And like doing energy work, doing Reiki especially, has already gifted me the privilege of seeing a person beyond their wounding. It's like, even if I just meet you, I don't have to see just the you're presenting to me. There's more of you that I can see, whether they're aware of it or not. It's been amazing having clients and then witnessing my own Clair gifts develop even more. And this is the thing with this journey is there is no limit, right? It there's nothing. Even being a Reiki master myself, it's like sometimes I don't want to say that I'm a master, because it's like that it doesn't stop. There's always more layers to discover. So like adding the galactic astrology piece to get really deep with soul knowledge and wisdom, and then the energy work, seeing the Clair gifts develop. So sometimes in sessions, and this is always really spontaneous, but I'll get a smell of cologne or a certain deodorant, and it's pretty specific, like with the name, like, oh, I just got a whiff of Old Spice. Do did your grandfather wear Old Spice or something? And then that they'll say, and I'm not typically, I think it's called Clair Salience, the one with that you can smell, and that's a gift. And actually, Akata and we were talking before recording, and that is a gift that you have more developed than I do. That's correct? You could smell?
Well, I can smell and I can taste, and I didn't know it until when I was doing I was doing a course with Penny Kelly, and I think she is one of the scientists with her scientific background that get into spirituality that I can feel myself very aligned with, because I need someone to explain to me from a scientific point of view. Come from a person that is computer programming with my left brain. And with her, that we go through this explanation of how our brain work and bring us into the spirituality, and going through a whole lot of exercise, real life exercise with her. And one of those is remote viewing. Like, you have an envelope. Inside there could be a photo or an object. You just tune in to see what is inside. And in one of those objects, and I start to smell the burning, like smokes, and then I start to taste it on the tip of my tongue. And now I'm actually tasting it as if I was then. And I say, oh, what is it? And I have like I recalled when I was a smoker myself. I used to smoke cigarettes. I say, oh, I know that feelings. That's the cigarette butt. And that's how I understand that I have also that instead of just, well, I think the clear sentience and clear audience is one among the two which is more common amongst the spiritual people, that when we see a vision inside, and like even the clear audience is like, for me is conversation inside our head, right? That we can hear them talking.
Yeah.
And feeling the cold and or the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the taste that for me was something that I discovered. Say, oh, I have that too.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes and from then just let everything come in at the same time. The pain. Sometimes we feel the pain in us because the
Oh,
pain someone is feelings.
I get that a lot actually, feeling the pain. And one time I had a client who used to have horses.
Yes.
So I would go to her farm and work on the horses. And there was one horse particularly, um, Scout. Scout was this horse's name. And it was the first time I was going to work on this horse, but I was still at home. I didn't even get to the location yet. And my stomach was killing me. I could feel like twisting, like and I said to myself, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what just came over me. I'm not going to be able to do this session if this doesn't clear. And then immediately it was like, that's not yours. You're like getting prepared to go work on the horse. So I would already know what I'm working with. So this isn't limited to just like you're picking up on another person's energy. Like you can pick up on animals' energy, just like I did with Scout. And that used to happen every week when I would work on him. Before I would get there, he would tell me psychically, this is
Mm.
what's hurting today. And I go and I would always confirm with his owner, be like, so is this bugging him? So that day with the really intense stomach pains, the owner was like, yes, he's having a really hard time with his stomach. And so the session was amazing because I already had the spirit message of what I was about to deal with. And that happens with clients. So if they're coming in feeling really anxious or with a headache or a cold, before they even get to my house, I'll temporarily feel what they're feeling as preparation to go to work on them.
Yeah.
So it can be pretty intense. And sometimes you almost forget that, oh yeah, this is a gift. You're not actually getting sick. You're just momentarily picking up something else to prepare you for what's about to happen. I get like that with the environment too. And that's why I like to do a lot of earth work, like help the earth transmute a lot of energies. And for anyone who's clairsentient, I did make a recorded meditation on my insight timer and YouTube, just like a really quick, I think it's 5 or 6 minutes, just to help clear your energy.
Yes.
Because if you're out shopping or at the mall or grocery shopping, sometimes you feel like shit when you come back because you're like, oh my God, it's just like you just went into a tornado full of energy and you're like, what the heck is mine? So you got to clear yourself. So that's why I made that video, because I needed it for me. Like I need to clear myself too. I can't always go hug a tree. Like I have life stuff to do too. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can check that out. Mm-hmm.
That actually brings me back when I came back from from LA. I spent the day before going into Santa Monica. Cheap, steak, expensive, whatever you want to say.
Okay.
But at the same time, you see also the misery on the streets, right? And all the differences between rich, and poor. And when I was coming back, driving home, and at certain point, I say, I need to stop somewhere. And I stopped by Pyramid Lake, and I think there was really a divine of the church that calling, stop there. There's water, and I can go into. Just even dipping my feet in the water doesn't really need to submerge myself. Just be on the shore and feeling the calmness around of this national park with this lake in the middle, and that was when I touched the water, I started to cry. It was as if I have collect a lot of subconsciously, I think.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, I have collect of a lot of misery in this apparently LA, perfect Hollywood glamour, and houses are perfect, lawns are perfect, but don't you dare to touch one thing, right?
Yeah.
And then you drive through, you see people sleeping by the highway, and so picking up all this, and of course also my personal journey in the meantime, that I have bottled up so much inside me that I didn't get a chance to release it. So that was, oh, a saving grace. Really, at that moment when I touched the water was a saving grace. But to go back to feelings, what our clients, and I actually learned with Penny Kelly again, like, because one of the first exercise we really get into the body of our clients. The first one, and we were in a small group, like two of us, and then we exchanged nothing, just name and address and feel into that person. The first person was okay, a old lady. I felt her sadness, and as far as that goes, it was good. And then the second person, I went in and I started to want to throw up. It was so dark in this person energy field. I have to jump out right away. And from there I learned, okay, feel into it, but not in it.
Right. There's a difference. Yeah.
And yes, and I think what you are describing, you are not doing Reiki. You are doing a whole lot more.
I agree. Yeah, that's why I stopped calling my sessions Reiki sessions, and I just go generic energy work sessions, because I work with the person as they are. So like sometimes I spend the whole session like doing cleansing work, and I'll use like different herbs to cleanse them, and different healing modalities, or I have a bunch of like tuning forks over there,
Yeah, yes, yeah.
buffalo drums. Sometimes they need the sound and the vibration, and
Mm,
certain smokes.
mm,
Um, like this is called mapacho, and
mm,
I
mm,
smoke it
mm,
and
mm, mm,
I
mm.
blow it on their field to help them get out of like it's like an energy entrapment that's like holding them prisoner in their own field. um so yeah, it's much more than Reiki, to put it short. But Reiki is my foundation for everything. It's even my foundation for doing the galactic astrology. So every
Mm.
time I do someone's chart, I see it as sacred work. So another certified practitioner from the course, Marina, she's so lovely, but she taught me something and it really stuck with me. She's like, every time you do a birth chart, light a candle. It is sacred work to know someone's full birth details. And I totally agree with that. And it stuck with me. So every time I open up someone's chart, I light a candle because it's like a ceremony has begun. I'm starting to tap into someone else's like soul records. And that's as personal as it gets. you
Yeah,
know,
totally
a
agree.
yeah, a lot can be revealed by an astrology reading, just traditional natal chart reading. But, and then you could take it further with the galactic if they're open to this higher wisdom.
Mm, mm, mm.
But I think it's amazing that this is how we met because we kind of had like our foundation. You know, we did a lot of work. We had to go through low moments, see life in certain ways to know how to navigate, how to come out of it. And then we find Reiki. And then my first Reiki attunement was a disaster in the most beautiful way. Like I was sick for 2 weeks after. So kind of like you felt yourself purging.
Mm, yes.
My head, I had a migraine for 2 weeks straight. Like it was so hard to function because all this energy from my head was starting to shift. Um, and I had to completely stop drinking alcohol. It wasn't only until like many, many years later that I can drink alcohol again because
Mm.
like my whole vibration totally changed.
Well, that is so funny that our body actually refused. Like I think, okay, I used to smoke,
Hmm.
but people would look at me and say, "You smoke?" Because even friends that have seen me smoke for so long, and it would still come up like say, "You smoke?" They can't really recognize me as a smoker.
Sometimes
And
I still do.
and 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 I
Yeah.
think right before I started Reiki, my body was already in the process of detoxing, but I just refused. I
Mhm.
stopped smoking from one day to the next. There's no quitting. It just
Right. I know, right? It's like a hard no. It's like you can bring it to your lips and it's just like not happening. It's the
yeah,
door shut.
and that's so interesting. And and when we give us permission to go further in learning, in bringing out what we have inside in this healing or galactic astrology in the reading, even in galactic astrology, and as complicated, as complex, as fantastic the course is, it gives you the base, right? And every one of us will practice it according to our own consciousness, as of our own understanding, and lighting candles is fantastic. And I I personally will ask them already with a kind of questions, with questionnaires. And even then, like, I would ask permission from their higher self. Do I have the permission to tune in with them? And and then that would be a blessing. Guide me. That is certain kind of humbleness in that. That we are not, oh, we have these abilities and we are doing this and that. That we
Right.
are humble to be giving this service and letting ourselves guided by our clients. And once for one little girl, for instance, that she is just born and her grandmother would like her chart being read, right? And I say, hang on, because first I need the parents' permission,
Right.
not from grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, let me tune in first. Does she want her chart to be read? And my answer was, she was showing me, well, she was just born then, and she was showing me a little girl of, I think 5 or 6 years old, running so freely, so happily on an open field. But the answer was no. You are not going to read my chart. Isn't it interesting?
I love that. It's beautiful because we, even though we, like you said, we can do what we can do, but you have to stay humble and not take advantage of that. Like I would never do a healing on someone that didn't want to. So I do the remote work, but you have to check first. Does this person even want the healing? And
Yeah.
right away you get the answer. It's either a soul level yes or a soul level no. And if it's a no,
Yes.
better back off. Because I mean, then that is karma back to you. So there is no crossing that line.
No.
It's just, it's a no, it's a no.
And people don't understand, like, they would just come to you and say, can you okay, I have an experience that a person that I know, and he would say, you can see my Akash, you will know I was a good person. Hang on a minute.
Yeah. Hang on a minute.
I don't go into anyone Akash without explicit permission
Mm-hmm.
as my client, for instance. Okay. Secondly, the misunderstanding that if we had some kind of connection, or if you were some other people, some other good people, I don't really care if you were a king or whatever. In this lifetime, how you are honoring who you are, I don't really care who you were.
Right.
and, and that's something that we need to have this principle, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense. I like the word principle.
it
Like,
is. Yeah.
yeah, just like the Reiki principles is one of them, the five principles, and one of them is I will do my work honestly. Yeah, that as a Reiki master, you swear to uphold that. So I can tune into someone's energy anywhere in the world just by knowing their name. Um, and that's okay just to tune in, but that's as far as you, like, that's the limit, right?
Yeah.
And then to go further or to send them an actual healing session, you would need their consent. When people pray, um that's totally fine, because I've been asked that a lot with Reiki first degree students, because you don't do the remote healing yet. So what I say is, if they don't get a soul connection yet, like, does so and so want me to send them healing? Um, if they're unsure of themselves still, what I like to suggest is, and you could call it a loophole, but it's just more of an alternative. You can say, if this person wants to receive this healing, I'm going to leave it here for them. And if their soul wants it, they can come and grab it. It's almost like a delivery system.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like on a soul level, if they want to accept the healing, they can. And if they don't, you can then let it go where whoever needs it the most.
Yes.
Total stranger, some, like anyone, the earth, I don't know.
Yes.
But you can do simple magical things just like that, that is not breaking any universal laws, that is not going against having someone's permission or consent. You know, you just have to, I guess, be aware of what you're doing, right? And sometimes, even though there's a lot of spiritual people doing energy practices, there are still a lot of things that are done with little awareness,
Yes.
like having someone's permission.
Yeah, I think energy work, whatever energy work that we do, we need to hold up the standard, being right, being fair, and being respectful. For us as a healer, as a practitioner, and for our clients, either that is a chart reading or healing sessions. And yes, I think you are going to give us a little walkthrough with your brief work so we can close this session. We close this podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
Breathing exercise. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it is the new moon today. I just want to infuse the energy of opportunities coming people's way, positive opportunities, the groundedness with this grand earth trine. And we're going to tune our frequency to love. You know, that's one of the highest vibrations we can be. And I believe that we're all capable of choosing the frequency we are with our conscious awareness. So the simplest and most fun technique I like to teach is called tuning the radio. And we're going to tune it to love. So just sit comfortably, let the shoulders drop, make sure you're not clenching your jaw. Relax the forehead. Good. And just start noticing your breath. Just observe it, breathing it in and letting it out. If you have a lot of tension in your body, I recommend exhaling out through your mouth just to further release the tension. We're going to add to that. We're going to try to breathe in to the count of 4. Pause it at the top. And then exhale to the count of 8. And just imagine all your worries drifting further and further away from you. Good. Now we're choosing the frequency of love. We're going to invite our energies to elevate to the frequency of love. So you are like a radio, and your breath is the tuner. So what you want to do here is when you breathe in, you want to breathe in love. Imagine you're picking it up from the airways, breathing in love, letting it drop in your body, hold your breath, and then you breathe out love. So love starts to cocoon around you. And so we're going to continue that, breathing in love. Breathing out love. as you continue to breathe in this manner, become aware of the spiraling light surrounding you, knowing that this light is filled with love, going inside your body, nourishing every cell. And as you exhale, it's cocooning your energy field and raising it to the vibration of love. Notice how your energy has shifted, feels more calm, more relaxed. And as you breathe in, you're attracting love into your experiences. And you're giving love on your exhale for someone else to experience. And we're creating a balanced breath. We're receiving love with our inhale. And we're giving love on our exhale. So anytime you need a quick tune-up, this is a very simple and effective technique to shift back into your calm, rooted and stable frequency of love. And because we are here on this call, let us take one breath for the whole planet. Let's breathe in love while imagining Mother Earth drawing really close to our hearts, sending her love, healing, nourishment, purity, divine recalibration, prosperity, wellness, whatever it is, whatever you want. And then exhale that love for the earth and let it go. Good.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, we just keep on this very calm and peaceful consciousness, and we say goodbye. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Until next time.
Goodbye. Namaste. Thank you.